another planet, couldn't break the greatest, so they put my city underwater. Buried us alive, they didn't know that we were seized. So through the moon from the middle of the sea, so she could put me back to the heavenly source. But of course, there's different levels to this life. It's different levels to these guys. There's different reasons for your whys. The pyramids I built, it all came from this mind of mine. I never died, I just came back. This ain't me in a different time. From gods to slaves, this all a game they played on, I'm into. I've been a king, I've been a queen, I'm bigger than that presidential. We are gods in the flesh, born righteous, not sinners. You the savior you've been looking for, don't let them tell you anything different. It's the age of the gifted, the paradigm has shifted, the veil has been lifted, hieroglyphics unencrypted. The Bible tracks show tribe, where my kindred spirits at, raise your frequencies.
The reason why I asked him to wait is because I want you guys to really know what kind of a guy is about to come up.
Yes, yes.
He gets a lot of ridicule, you know, by just being himself. So for him to come out and still speak and be genuine.
Yes.
I've been in this game for a long time. I might not look like it, but I'm old. And you don't come across people that are truly genuine.
Right.
So what you see is actually what you get, and maybe even more. So when he comes up, I want you guys to, if you haven't heard of him, if you don't agree with his lifestyle or whatever the case might be, just have an open mind, because it's not easy to be yourself.
Right.
Everybody is duplicating something or somebody. So to have somebody who was one way and completely reinvented himself and decided to show the world that this is who I am unapologetically, and I will freely answer your questions and talk to you and come out and take pictures with you. Like, that's a true, he don't like that word, but that's a true God in the flesh. You know, so I just wanted to give him his flowers, because this is one of the sweetest people I ever met, y'all. So y'all gotta get up on y'all feet. Come on. Come on. Y'all gotta get up on your feet. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Get up on your feet and give him
Thank you guys so much. How you doing today?
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. The song was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Guys, I want you to just flow with me here. Anybody haven't heard of me in here? New people? Okay, great. So listen, guys, my name is Kevin Wesley. I grew up in religion. I left religion, and that's part of what made me known worldwide. All right, so I'll explain a little bit about myself. My mother died when I was 3 years old. All right, so my life was kind of everywhere. I grew up with my grandmother, and she got too sick to keep me when I was around 13 or 14. So me and my brother now, we're living alone. We're living in the projects. We're lying about our age so we don't get have to go through housing and all this other type of stuff. We're separated, and I find this church across the street from me. It becomes my everything. The pastor inside the church becomes like my father. Gives me a lot of stability. Gives me a lot of advice, and he becomes somebody I can look up to. He became my father. You know, it wasn't long before I was ministering. They told me that I was called. I believed I was called. I believed that my mother was in heaven. I believed there was a reason to why my mother died. You know, all the things that they teach you in religion. God has a purpose for everything. He won't put no more on you than you can bear. Everything happens for a reason. And so I believed this way. It gave me hope. It did. It gave me strength. It did. By the time I was 21, I was a full-blown preacher. I'd already been a youth pastor, youth minister for several years. My pastor ended up dying shortly after, and I began pastoring the church intermediately, like taking turns with other church members, other ministers and things like that. So I would get the fourth Sunday, which is what they would call the youth Sunday, and because I was a youth pastor before my pastor died, of course, and on these fourth Sundays, the church would be more packed than ever. So of course, they're seeing my charisma, they're seeing that people loving what I have to say, and they're wanting to, I guess, level me up. They want me to preach more. I began to preach more. I began to study more. And in my studies, I started realizing that a lot of the things that we're doing in the church didn't line up with the Bible. Okay, so that started to jolt my mind. All right, while we practicing things that are not in the Bible, why do we believe it? Why don't any of us challenge it? So I began to ask questions. I didn't get answers. Instead, I got told to have more faith. Instead, I got told that I needed to believe harder. I got told something was wrong with me. I got told I wasn't praying hard enough. These things didn't seem to make sense to me, because how can they tell me I'm not praying hard enough? You know? You try to pray harder, believing that something's wrong with you, you know? And you start realizing that it just don't work that way. So you start challenging the beliefs. You start talking to the people inside the church. You don't get any answers. So you start seeking for yourself. You got a whole community around you that you've been raised around who thinks like this, talks like this. You don't really have a choice. And they don't get an opportunity to truly learn for themselves, because a lot of our parents don't know any better. They're reteaching this information. And so my goal is to get in front of people, share information, share light and truth. I'll put my information out online, because when I was young, I didn't have an internet. All I had was my family. Man, and they believed. My grandmother was superstitious and Christian. She believed that breaking a mirror gonna give you 7 years bad luck, and she thought Jesus was coming back. I don't even know how you rationalize that stuff. You know what I mean? So I had to avoid stepping on a crack and everything else. You understand? If you sweep her feet, she's spitting on the broom. You know, she gonna hawk up a little bit. Give everybody in the house corona because of that broom. You understand? I'm not even kidding, y'all. It was that bad. And because of that, everybody around her was the same way. You know, we could be walking to the store to get her some cigarettes. If she walked by one pole and we over here, as soon as she realizes she'll stop and make you go all the way back, she called it splitting the pole. Don't split the pole. And you know, I'm thinking, well, what about all these blades of grass? She slapped the shit out of me. Look, she didn't play. And so I grew up with that type of worldview. I saw it come out in my father. I tossed a hat onto the bed. My father jumped like he was like Superman. He was laid out in the air, midway through the air, diving to knock that hat off the bed. This man wouldn't dive. He wouldn't dive like that to save my life. You understand me? He went full prostrate in the air to knock a hat off the bed because he said it would be bad luck. And when he knocked the hat off the bed, momentum now, he's in the air. He got to go down, okay? He's bouncing on the bed, fussing at me while he's bouncing. Boy, you gonna have bad luck doing that. I never heard of this. I've been having hats on the bed a long time. Maybe that's why my life ain't lining up. All the hats I've been leaving on the bed. I asked my pop, like, listen, who's over bad luck? Who's over bad luck? Who the god of bad luck? Men made mirrors. Why is it bad luck attached to mirrors? They're man-made. Why is it bad luck attached to hats? They are man-made. So you make a hat and whoever over bad luck now said, don't put a hat on a man-made bed? I mean, come on, you know? And so you're asking who substantiates these ideas, and why do we lead with them and continue to teach them, and why do they go unchallenged? I'm telling y'all, the answer is religion. When you go to religion, when you're in church or when you're in your holy place, do not people stand up and talk about what they feel like God did for them. And people just congratulate it and clap. No one contests this stuff. It can be any old thing. Normal everyday life things. I had a cold on Sunday, and now this Sunday, I don't have a cold. Well, a cold is typically 7 days long. But nobody's going to challenge that, because how are you going to tell somebody God didn't do something for them? You see what I'm saying? Like, God's going to get credit for waking you up. You can't tell a person that God did not wake them up. You understand? Like, even when they're having a rough night sleeping, and they waking up over and over, that's God too, getting on their nerves. He won't let them sleep.
He teach you something.
You see how weird this is? When you realize, no, that was God too. You see what I'm saying? And it becomes something we can always say and do without everything. You lose your car keys, God helped you find them. But when you look in the realm of reality, people get hurt, man, to all different degrees. Rape, murder, people die every day of starvation. And nobody's showing up to help any of these people.
No, that's the devil.
Right, that's the devil, absolutely, and they can't prove that either. So it becomes one of those things where it's like, do you care if it's true? Does it matter if it's true? I get it gives you hope. And that's why I say my goal or my intention is not to take religion from people. It's to provide a voice to people who need that ear, who realize that they're in something that's not healthy, it's not harmonic to their soul. You know this is messing up your natural man. Everything that this stuff is telling you to do goes against your natural self, teaches you to hate yourself. And if you read it thoroughly, you would see how bad it truly is. A lot of it, we don't even read. So are there any avid readers of the Bible in here who can say they really read through this thing, 100% dissected it?
I'm atheist, so.
Atheist, okay. You are?
I was forced to.
You was forced? Okay, cool. But do you know in the Bible, black skin is synonymous with sin, correct? Isn't this a problem? That should be a huge problem.
Yes,
that black skin is synonymous with sin. That when people sin, their skin gets turned black, y'all.
Come on now.
So when you see a black person, what are you supposed to think? That they're sinful, that they're bad. Think about this, family. We went through times in our true history where if you had something like leprosy or some type of sickness, you offended God.
Yeah.
So now when you should be getting loved and cared for, now everyone stays away from you for some spiritual reason. What did you do to God that God put you through that? I didn't do anything to God. And instead of loving you, they stay away from you. What if we treated people like that with diseases today? What if religion was still that thick that if you had cancer, it's your fault, man? What you do to God? And everybody who had cancer is now repenting for whatever they did to God so he can heal them. But we don't make any efforts to try to cure cancer in a scientific way. What would that world look like? Pretty sick, wouldn't it? Pretty scary, right? What if you're a child and your parents have so much faith, they won't even get you simple health care, and you die over something that can be cured with a shot or a pill? Because they called it faith, and they didn't even get you help. This is a real thing, y'all. A real thing. Children have died because their parents refused to get them medical attention. Over simple stuff, y'all. Because they believed strongly that God would heal them. And guess what? Some preacher would tell them they didn't have enough faith. I argue that every day of the week.
How about this? God had a
If God
perfect
don't
plan
honor
for you.
anything,
To plan
that's
for
what you honor right there. That's faith, yo. I don't care what you, now if you got faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. But if you don't take your child to a medical facility because you believe God gonna heal them, that's not faith. Oh, that's faith. That's faith if I never heard it.
That's mental health.
I agree. It is. It's the same thing.
That's what that is.
Because I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm gonna drive my child to the hospital and be praying. I'm gonna be one of them Christians who laugh at because I ain't stupid.
Right.
You understand? My child hurt their neck. So they got their neck rolled up in a window, and I heard about it, and I'm rushing to the hospital to see them there. I'm praying on the way, but I'm saying take them to the hospital.
Right.
You understand? Like my faith wasn't that strong. I knew I needed medical attention. You understand? But some people, they don't. Their faith or mind is so built, so convinced that God is going to do something, they will literally not do anything to help their own child and see this happening and still won't do anything. It's grown-ups who die in themselves and refuse to get any type of real health care because they're depending on God to save them. And in their mind, God gave this child to me, God can take this child away. And this is their mindset. If you guys can't see how our world could be healthier if we deal with each other in a more logical way, I don't know what's wrong. Like I said, I get religion can give us hope. It can keep us happy when things are sad. But I liken it to a crutch. Yes, a crutch helps you to move when your bone is broken, and that cast helps your bone to heal. But if you keep the cast on and you stay on those crutches, you're going to be immobilized by continuing that crutch and continuing that cast. Does that make sense? It's only supposed to be there for a time. You understand? Like when you're a child and we don't know the answer to what's on the other side, these kind of myths and stuff, they help us to cope. Believing that Jesus is going to be there, God, Mithra, whatever thing we create, it makes us feel better. But it has no basis on the actual truth. So for me, I wanted to know what was true. I wanted to be able to talk to a Muslim, talk to a Buddhist, and be able to substantiate why my beliefs was true over theirs. Not just say I got a book, because they got a book. Not just say I got to believe, not just say I have faith. Any of that stuff. I wanted to have something substantial. And when I realized that I did not, I had to step away from it all, you know? And what my world looked like after that was outcast, my whole community began to hate me. My name became worldwide known, but at the same time, I'm getting spit on by everybody. I'm getting death threats. Nobody will hire me. My whole world changed. And that's why I can see why it's so hard for so many people to admit this stuff out loud. Because you got two worlds you got to deal with. The one is your internal world, the fear of hell, the fear of dying as soon as you make a decision that you don't believe it anymore, right? Just the fear of how you thinking. As soon as you make this decision, okay, I'm going to step away, I don't believe it no more. Your mind starts to haunt you like, wait a second, what if I made the wrong decision? What if everybody else is right? What if I actually am wrong? So you start to lose hope in yourself. This before you even say it out loud, family. You already beating yourself up, losing confidence in yourself before you even tell people out loud you don't believe in it. And then you're lying, which hurts your natural self too. Because when people walk up to you saying, hey, God is good, you can't tell them that you don't believe in it. You can't. Because you're raised to believe in other people's opinions, right? So if you tell them, I'm sorry, that's not my faith, you feel like you did them wrong, right? So you're never really able to roar like a lion. You always got to look around and see if you can speak your truth. There's somebody around that might be offended by it, right? But no wolf has to do that. No lion has to do that. And we've been domesticated too long. We shouldn't feel afraid to speak our truth if that is our truth, okay? If we don't believe in something, it should be okay to say, I don't believe in that, right? If you walk up to a Christian and you start talking that Buddha stuff, they're going to tell you straight up, the devil is a lie, get out of my face. And they don't have to feel bad for correcting you in that. You understand? So I feel like it would help us out and give us more traction if more of us would stand up and say, hey, look, if it means me losing my relationships, because that's what you're risking. This ain't you going and telling your boyfriend something that might make him mad at you. This is you saying something that can risk every relationship in your life. What's one thing that you could say out loud to make everybody you deal with stop dealing with you? Likely that. Do you understand how bad that is, family? Now, imagine that you know how black people grew up, like especially young black men. We get scared of the word gay, right? But you might have somebody who says, hey, I'm gay. They ain't about to lose everybody in their family. Somebody gonna understand that and say, okay, I get it, I understand that, right? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You ain't gonna lose everybody, right? But say I no longer believe in Jesus. Say I'm no longer a Christian. Your whole world will change, family. Okay? This is even outcasts will outcast you. Okay? I'm serious. I'm serious, guys. I've never been a person who was judgmental at all. So even when I was in church, there was a lady who came to my church like, what's up with all these gays in here? And I got so mad and stood up. I was like, how dare you come in here and criticize anybody for being in here? This is supposed to be a place that you go to for help, for healing. And if they can't be here, none of y'all should be here. Right? When I tell you, like, the gay people in there, they loved me for that. But when I left church and didn't believe it anymore, they were some of the first people to turn their back on me. We was here. I thought we was good. You're going to go in here and be criticized by these people with their beliefs. I'm telling you, ain't nothing wrong with you. You good. And you hate me for it. Wow. Man, it'll play on your mind. So I don't know who out there, if anybody out there is in religion, if you challenge your religion, or if you left religion. If you're in religion, this is not an attempt to take your religion from you. If you notice, I didn't even go that deep into that. It's not even about if it's true or not. It's more about the damage that it causes to us. And whether or not it's true or not, it causes damage, y'all, right? These people who call themselves authority figures, they're not telling us the truth. They tell us to have faith when they should be talking to us and giving us an answer, but they don't care to give us one. And then they'll make it up. You're absolutely right. They don't have to. They are an authority over you. You're never going to outgrow their authority. Please understand this. In this type of system, you're never going to outgrow their authority. People typically grow up in life, but not you. You're going to be a child of God till the day you die. You understand? And they're going to be your pastor, your deacon, and all this stuff until the day you die. And they're right and you're wrong until the day you die. That's what's crazy. And as soon as you challenge them, they're going to hold their title over your head. And everybody in God not be real. Because then I didn't lose anything. Because if God's not real, nobody's there to put me in hell. Right? Then I would rather do that than spend my life not believing in God. Because boy, if I'm wrong, I would have hell to pay. It's logical. It seems logical, right? It seems logical, right? But which God? Which God? Which God? There are 4,200 religions. Which one? It's not that simple. It's really not that simple to say, I'm going to choose to believe in God just in case. Because God is all-knowing. Wouldn't God know that you believed in him off of a gamble? You ain't had no real relationship.
How about this? If you're so forgiving, I don't believe if I get there and you're there, forget.
Right, forgive me. Why not? Yeah. I didn't know no better. You never revealed yourself. You should understand that. But no, you're going to hell forever. Right? So the best chance is just pretend to believe in God. Pretend, because even though He's going to know at the end, you're still going to hell anyway, because He knows everything. He'll know the relationship is forged on a gamble, on chance. You only did it because you felt like the chances were better. Well, let me propose something for you, okay? Because when people say this, they're talking about the specific God they believe in. There's 4,200 gods. There's 4,200 religions. So when you're saying this right here, ask yourself, what if there was another proposal? What if there's a God with a hell way worse than the biblical hell you heard of?
Worse?
It's way worse, okay? It's way, way worse. It's way hotter. And even though it's forever, this one's way longer. It's two forever. Okay? Not just you go to hell if you don't believe, but you and every person that you love go to hell because you don't believe. Ooh, that made it worse, didn't it? Because now somebody else being in hell is subject to your belief. So we need your belief on everybody you love gonna go to hell, right? Right. Okay, so wouldn't it be more logical to believe in that God? Oh yeah, right. Because the hell is worse, right? Right. And if I believe in that God and He ain't real, then ain't no hell as bad as that one, so I'm good. Right. It makes no sense, and it's no justification in it, and it still leads to no evidence. You're basically saying, I'm going to choose to believe in someone else's constructed idea so I feel better about myself and death. That's really what you're saying. No God ever said that it was God. What is God? Except for a man-made word. What is it, y'all? It is a word that was created by men, God. No God ever said, I am a God. No God ever said that. If it's the only being in existence, why would it say that? Purpose. Where does purpose come from? If it comes from God, you do not have purpose, family. If there is one entity that decided to create you for its own entertainment, you have no purpose other than the purpose it gave to you. Do you understand that? Is this clear? If you would not have existed, then you're not real. If you're saying that God existed first, and because God created me, I exist, you are Pinocchio. God's real, and you're not. You're created by God, and the only reason you're real is because God made you. That's your purpose. That's not purpose. Does this make sense? That's blind faith, and now I have to believe that you have purpose from someone you can't get any answer from. What is my purpose? So now you left for other people to tell you your purpose, and that's a horrible word because you should be defining your purpose. They'll tell you that your skills was meant for basketball. Your skills was meant for a sport that a man made. You can use them for basketball, but do you think God is making people for basketball? Yeah, likely. Why not?
Or what about the one when they say, I'm God's favorite?
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
The call of you to think that you're someone's favorite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it caters to ego. It makes you feel special because you're chosen. And if you are chosen, what does that mean? That somebody is not. Right. And so God's got people on this earth that's just hoes off Grand Theft Auto. Right. I don't know if this makes sense to y'all, but they don't have no real purpose, yo. They just be walking around like they bump into you, ain't no real narration to go along. Just, excuse me. Just, that's all some people are. It's just fake robots and they don't have a calling. Yo, that's crazy. So how do you determine who's real and who ain't? Who's called and who's not? Energy. You see what I'm saying? Say it again.
Energy. That's how you decipher who's who.
Right.
The energy you give off.
By the energy you put out. Right. But this is not to say that a person is not capable of emitting energy, right? If you are here, you're capable of emitting energy. You're just not self-realized. You could be moving in someone else's energy. You could be afraid to let your energy shine, but that's linked to how you believe in yourself. Your greatness, if you believe it, if you tap into it, it's all that matters, family, is what you do. This is why I keep saying it's due time. You have gifts inside of you, and your goal should be to access those gifts and unlock them. If you were told that somebody else is in authority to you, you ain't gonna tap into your gifts. You're not. Life is not about people judging you and telling you how to see yourself. Life is about you becoming greatness. That's it. What other people's opinion of you is simply irrelevant, family. What is their opinion of you? You trying your best to be great and self-realized has nothing to do with them. People are just watching you perform and they're judging you for it, and you actually think it matters. There's a social standard that tells you exactly how to be and how to think. In order for you to truly manifest, you got to let go of every single thing they told you, man. Don't try to be nobody else. Ask yourself, what skill sets do I have? What talents do I have? Start working on those talents and watch your reality manifest for you. That's how life should look. It's not about going outside of you trying to find your place. It's about you creating your place. It's truly true, y'all. If you work on you, you'll get there. And I try to make this as simple as possible before I go, but if you want to get stronger, you got to work out. You do. Not the person beside you. You do. So I can stare at the weights all I want to. Focusing on them weights won't make me bigger. I got to focus on me. Don't that make sense? Unless I take the weight and start doing something with it, I'm not going to get any stronger, fam. I'm just looking at it. That's what life is like. If you say, I want to be great in this area, but you don't wake up and put your hands to it, you cannot expect to get any better, and you're caught up in religion. You see what I'm saying? If you say, I want to be a rapper, right, and you ain't never wrote a song. I want to be a singer, but you ain't never wrote a song. You don't want to be no damn singer.
Right.
You lying to yourself. You're literally lying. How you say you want to do something that you ain't doing nothing for? Want is not saying I want it. So we got caught up in these words, so all we do is talk. If you want something, what that looks like is you going after it. Have you ever heard a lion say, I want to eat? But what do? If you see a lion, you're going to run, ain't you? You're running. He don't got to say a word. That's what nature do. Nature don't talk. It do. Only humans sit around and say what they going to do. Yo, go do it. Does this make sense to y'all? Humans supposed to be the apex of society. We go to work and go buy food. A squirrel get up and go get the nut. It don't go to work to go buy no food. Y'all understanding this? Because we've been taught to do this, man. We've been taught to do this. Your job is supposed to fuel your business. If you do have to get a job, that job is supposed to fuel your business, your own resource. It don't mean you got to be rich, but I'm sure everybody in here got a gift that can pay them enough to survive if they would have really looked inward at their gift. But instead, we're giving somebody else 8 hours of our day, 40 hours of our week. How you going to manifest that, family? Now, I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying save that money with intent. Don't burn up all your energy for them and then go party it away in 2 days, family, just to do it again. You're not going to get out of there. You're going to be caught up in the same cycle, and ain't nobody going to tell you this. They're going to tell you give 10% of your income to the church, and that's how it happens. That is not how it happens. You just get broken. Who can argue that? Who can debate that? There's not a person on this planet that can debate putting your money in a collection plate equals more money in your account. That is a horrible investment advice, and you shouldn't be listening to this crap.
Right.
The only way your money is gonna manifest and grow is if you put it into yourself in the form of some type of training or the bank or some type of investment, family. Putting your money in a collection plate talking about I want to bless you, that's not going to equal money for you, regardless of how good you feel doing it. See, you've been taught to make you a good person. What if I told you a good person loves themselves? Are you a good person? Love yourself. Don't love everybody except for you. What is love? How you feel or what you do?
How you feel?
If it's how you feel, then I don't want that. Like I love food. I love colors, right? I love different liquids. I love all kind of stuff. Love should be what you do, right? If you love yourself, you should be pouring into yourself. That's what love should look like. Actually, do you love you? If you waking up and you looking in the mirror and you not pouring into yourself, that's a huge problem because you fitting to go try to pour into somebody else. And then you're going to wonder why you're not getting back from them what you're putting into them. You ain't even putting into you. How can somebody else believe in you if you don't? Hey, support my business. You support your business. Yo. You have to. That's the only way. You understand what I'm saying? Support my business. You support your business. All right. I don't know, guys. I look at it like, when it comes to you and closing the gap between you and your future self, you need that conviction and you need that determination. It's not so much about other people outside of you. It's about you and you want it and your determination to go get it. So I want you all to just imagine a lion or a tiger looking across from them and they see that gazelle. When they see that gazelle, they see eat time, right? They've been starving for days, right? Likely about to die. These lions don't get food every day. These tigers don't get food every day. Okay, so when they see that gazelle over there, you can't play. It's not laying down tomorrow and get it tomorrow. Life don't work like that for the lion, right? That gazelle is not going to be standing right there tomorrow. That's crazy. You got to go get it now, right? So that's how we should be thinking. Go get it now. You understand? Don't be looking at the rabbit over there. Don't be looking at the hippo over there. Keep your eye on the prize and go get it. And you got to believe in yourself. And you got to understand sacrifice and what it's going to take to get what you want. If you say you want it and you're not giving what it takes to get it, you're not going to get it, and you're being disrespectful to yourself and every other person in the universe. If I tell myself I want something, and I tell you I want it, and I'm not going to get it, that is a blatant lie. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm only talking. It only sounds good to hear me say I want something. If you wake up every day and you put your hands and feet to it, now you want it. That's what it looks like. Like wanting a cornfield looks like planting one. Not saying I want a cornfield. Like, y'all realize that, right? How do you get a cornfield? Say it. You say it out loud to your friends. How you get there? Just keep talking about it, right? It's so crazy. And you'll never get that Bugatti unless you work on you. Because when you work on you, you become great and the money will come to you and then you can buy whatever you want. Not just the Bugatti. You see what I'm saying? Because when you work on you, you become great. You heal. The world is your oyster. But get rid of religion. Get rid of the residue of it. If you guys are going through life and you feel like it's hard for y'all to move and make a decision through religion, hit a brother up, man. Because I want to see us all healed. I want to see us all get to a place in life where we can believe in ourselves, pour into our dreams and our goals without any fear of what anybody might say to us. I got two beautiful queens standing back here. Everywhere we go, people got something to say. Everywhere I go, people got something to say. They judge me with their religion, they judge me with their world outlook, and their social standards.
So you know what you should do?
What's that?
Get a third one.
Hilarious. Guys, look, imagine walking to the mall, and according to the social standards, I'm a pimp, right? I'm egotistical. According to religion, you know, I'm just doing all types of wrong, even though that's in their Bible. You see? But that's what the world is going to do, judge you according to how they were raised, and they're going to use their lens to judge you. Now, if I was still a very religious person, I would let this stuff bother me. I would think that what they think of me actually has something to do with me and not the people who's saying it. If I didn't learn this lesson, I would have never manifested what I manifested, y'all. I had to get to a place in my life to where I said, what matters to me is what I think of me, not what everybody else thinks of me. Am I empathetic? Absolutely. I care about people. I love people. I don't want to be doing things to hurt them, to cause them pain. But I know my life inherently is not causing them any pain. And any problem that they have with my life, it just shows me who they are. And we shouldn't allow for it to make us feel like we're actually doing something wrong. But it'll do that. You understand? And I'm sure that's happening to y'all. Any type of step y'all say y'all want to make, somebody might tell you what they think about your vision. I don't think that'll work. This might be the wrong climate for that. It's the wrong area for it to work in. It's your vision. It's not theirs. What they have to say about your vision has nothing to do with it, family. They might not believe in themselves, and that's where that projection is coming from. But take your word into your own hands. You understand? Yeah. There is no such thing as tomorrow or yesterday. All you guys have is right now, family. Okay? I shall.
I remember when poetry used to be sacred. When we stood on stages like statues, monuments, and the audience would respect our glory as we spit stories. You know, metaphors, bars, and stanzas. The crowd would go wild after a punchline. Because after life punches us in the gut, we transform pain and struggle into lifelines. Alchemists. Poets be EKGs to your flatlines, reviving you word by word, you know, line after line. Poets be music without a melody.
No band supporting our spine from behind, but somehow we sing words together in harmony, a cappella. You know, poets be rappers without a beat, cause many don't understand that rap, R-A-P, stands for rhythm and poetry. We be the paintbrush to an artist's canvas. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, so it baffles me how someone can pay $1,000 for a painting in a gallery but can't sit still to hear a poet speak. It's insane to me how Cardi B can say, my heart is like a package with a warning label on it, so be careful with me. But no one seems to hear the poetry in between her and the beat. LMA say, I keep my feelings on safety, so why don't go shooting where your heart be? That's poetry. But she had to put it in a song just for folks to get along with it. You know, it discombobulates me how Tupac was a legend in the black community, but he was a poet and no one knows it. I remember when poetry used to be so lit that Russell Simmons made a TV show for it. Now the audience act as if they're deaf to our jam. Like we don't slam miracles on stages, win money for it and save lives at the same damn time. Poets be doctors, stitching you up after life cuts you deep. Poets be chefs, cooking up words and serving you soul food. Poets be preachers, you know, giving you a word when you done dropped so low that you forgot that there was a God. And you, poets be teachers, and you be pupils. You know, I see you when you can't see you, finding yourself out of the mess. You be in these poems, be lessons, blessings. Poets be gifted. We wrap it up in a present and present it, even when you're naughty enough to not respect it. But yet and still, poetry gets treated like the truth. No one really wants to hear it. They act as if they don't know that poetry is in everything that you do. Poetry is in your walk. It's swagger. Poetry is in your talk. It's smooth. Poetry is in what you eat. It's in your food. Poetry is in your music. It's lyrics. Poetry is in your sex. Scratch that. Poetry is sex. Ask me how. It's a give and receive of energy that climaxes producing an orgasm. That's how you got here. Poetry is literally life, and I'm waiting for the day that they put some respect on his name and treat it as such, because I remember when poetry used to be sacred, but now no one wants to hear it. That's that piece, y'all. This next song is called 555. Yeah. I got 5 on it. Sit with prime on it. Know that it's gonna cost you more if I put time on it. Catch out good, but even better with that chime on it. So if the out to get the money without fines on it. We started off bartering, then it went to gold. Next it was the silver, $9 bill is old. I know that's promissory, same as a sheet of paper. The bank's the biggest scam alive, look up the dictator. We on that digital currency, change. Money that we will never see, change. And here's the secret of business, it's a shame. Your name's connected to it all, it's a game. Trust, you gotta stay plain.
in your name in the U.S. corporation. You're the apparatus. How can I free myself? My love, you gotta change your status. Black is dead in the sight of the law. White ain't a race, it's a class. Black is dead in the sight of the law. White ain't a race, it's a class. How am I African if Africans ain't Africans? It's different sex, but they all from one continent. Some claim to be Nigerian or Nubian. Some claim to be Egyptian, Ethiopian, but never African. I ain't black or an African American. On paper, I'm either white or an Indian. We are the same, they get separated by name. People genocide, murder tribes that proclaim the Negro, the color non-original, and justify their acts by making shit biblical. It ain't about what they call you, it's more about what you answer to. Come on! Now when you see me in the streets, know that I am still with you. The legalese is how they talk just to trap you. It's time to play the game and that is the change. It's time to play the game and that is the change. It's time to play the game and that is the change. It's time to play the game and that is the change. Most of us you've been abiding to are statues, not law, created by one group, hoping that you never come to what they've been keeping all these years from you. See, when it comes to real law, there is only two. Thou shalt never steal, thou shalt never kill.
Come on.
When it comes to real law, there is only two. Thou shalt never steal, thou shalt never kill. Everything else is bullshit, it ain't real. The power's in your hands, you just gotta get the seal. In the mind frame, we gon' trap making deals. They never conquered us by force or steel. The pen is mightier than the sword and kills. I am a light worker, my job's to reveal.
Yes.
I came to planet Earth to experience and heal. May heaven smile upon, don't let me die for being real. Did y'all hear what I said?
Say it again.
I got 5 on it. Sit with prime on it. Know that it's gonna cost you more if I put time on it. Cash App was good, but even better with that time on it. So many options to get the money without fines on it. We started off bartering, then it went to gold. Next it went to silver, now the dollar bill is old. A note that's promissory, same as a sheet of paper. The bank's the biggest scam alive, look up the dictators. We on that digital currency. Change, money that we will never see. Change, and here's a secret between us, it's a shame. Your name's connected to it all, it's a game. Trust, you gotta state claim. Your abandoned property, your trust is in your name. In the U.S. corporation, you're the apparatus. How can I free myself, my love, you gotta change your status. Change your status. Change your status, why? Why? Black is dead in the sight of the law. White ain't a race, it's a class, fuck your thought. How am I African if Africans ain't Africans? It's different sets, but they all from one continent. Some claim to be Nigerian or Nubian. Some claim to be Egyptian, Ethiopian, but never African. Never African. I'm black or an African American. On paper, I'm either white or an Indian. We are the same, they just separated by name. People genocide, murder tribes, and proclaim the Negro, the color, unoriginal, and justify they acts by making shit biblical. It ain't about what they call you, but more about what you answer to. Now when you see me in the streets, I am still with you. The legalese is how they talk just to trap you. It's time to play the game and that is the change. It's time to play the game and that is the change. It's time to play the game and that is the change. It's time to play the game. Most of what you've been abiding to is statutes, not law, created by one group, hoping that you'll never come to what they've been keeping all these years from you. When it comes to real law, there is only two. Thou shalt never steal, thou shalt never kill. Everything else is bullshit, it ain't real. The power's in your hands, you just gotta get the seal. It's in the fine print, we got trapped making deals. They never conquered us by force or steel. The pen is mightier than the sword and heals. I am a light worker, My job's to reveal. I came to planet Earth to experience and heal. May heaven smile upon, don't let me die for being real. Let's vibe, let's go!
First and foremost, I ask that everybody give the beautiful Kween Katt here a round of applause. Definitely bringing the artistic world and the truth all together for one thing, man. I love it, man. I love it. So again, I'm Brotha Troop. I'm actually from Houston, Texas. I used to live in Charleston. And about 2015, I went to a little business camp out there, and I was actually like the only brother. You know, it's kind of crazy, but you know, they definitely still remember me. We used to tear it down with King Street and everything. So you know, yeah. So you know, I got a few stomping grounds around here. But you know, I appreciate you all having me today. It's lovely. It's a blessing. I'm waiting on them to get everything loaded up. But I just wanted to say that, you know, tonight, y'all might, you know, want to write as much of this down as you can. You know, because I'm going to have to do it kind of fast, you know, because I don't want to drag it out too long today. You know, we've already, you know, you all already, you know, been in for some good presentations today. So I don't want to hold you too long. I'm going to actually get right to it, okay? Man, I love it.
Welcome to the dark side.
Welcome to the dark side. It's perfect. Perfect. So, do we have any people in here with any families? I mean, you know, any of you all got children, anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. I guess definitely gonna be for y'all today. Okay. You said you got a little one? Yeah. Look, you don't get sad. Look good, brother. Yeah. So I appreciate it. Actually, the end, I'll be good next week. So we've been in about 28 cities now. And like she says, you know, I mean, doing this right here, I mean, you know, you really gotta have a love and passion for really trying to help and save, you know, your community. You want to get out here and preach this kind of information. But at the end of the day, man, you know, I've been blessed to travel all around, you know, the world and be able to pass this message on. And yeah, just incredibly, man, you know, we got over 10,000 users now on our website, 2,000-3,000 subscribers, and a lot of families that we've helped actually save their family land, save their. So I mean, we're gonna kind of get into all of that today on how to secure your affairs, because you know we had brothers like DMX who just died, and then you know his family fighting over the affairs now because he didn't have the basics of a trust or a will put together. You see what I'm saying? So these are things that we cannot have happen anymore in our family because everything is getting probated by the state. You feel me? Yeah. And they trying to take everything. Okay? So yeah, we can go ahead and get into it. Yes ma'am, we can go to the next one. But yeah, this is the Freedom Tour. So first and foremost, before we even get to going, you know, talking about remedies and what we can do to actually win, we gotta first understand where we came from, you know, because you can't know where you're going unless you first know where you came from. So right now, we're gonna have to actually take a little trip, a small trip through history. But I promise you, after I explain this to you, you're gonna know exactly what time it is, okay? When we get to the remedies. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Can you see it now?
The word is going to get a little bigger for the next one. So I'm going to explain it to you all anyway. So.
No light?
No light.
Here we go. Well, all right. Let's first start with the Pope's plan, because I remember my good brother that was going first, Brother Kevin. You know, he was talking about religion and everything else like that. Well, first let's go ahead and let's take it all the way back to the Roman crown, and you know, in his plan to actually take over the world. Okay. Now, if y'all did not know, the United Nations is actually ran and overseen by the Pope. Okay? All right? So that means that every single nation in this world, everyone running in the Olympics, all of them, they all report and check in to him. Okay? So, and I just want to say there is no state without church. All right? And when they showed up here in 1492, they just didn't show up with guns and say everybody hit the floor. They had Bibles in their hands and crosses. Don't forget. All right? All right? Because if I'm going to take something from you, I'm going to take your mind first. You see what I'm saying? All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So on November the 18th, 1302, there was a man by the name of Pope Boniface VIII, right? Issued something called the Papal Papers. Excuse me. The Papal Papers. All right? Unum Sanctum. That was another word for it. And in this writing, he stated, furthermore, we declare, we proclaim, we define that it is absolutely necessary for the salvation that every human on the planet, King James, and then Mary, you know, that same King James that you all will breastfed on that Bible with, you know, King James, Jamestown, you know, all of this leads back to this brother. This is a brother. And I'm not going to play with anybody because we all got uncles, grandparents that look just like this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to take it there. But at the end of the day, this was a melanated man. So before we even get deep, we need to understand that this was a war that was always between each other. We were fighting each other. Right? Okay? All right, so I want y'all to understand that. James I, King of Scotland from 1567 to 1625, and the first Stuart, King of England from 1603 to 1625, who styled himself as a brutish Moor and the King of Great Britain. All right? Now, during his time in power, he would establish Jamestown. We all remember Jamestown. Right? In the Virginia Company. All right? Now, these two companies were referred to as the Virginia Company of London and the Virginia Company of Plymouth. Now, as corporations, these companies were empowered here on your great-great-great-grandmother's land, literally just to do business. And that's really all they've ever been doing. Just business on your grandparents' territory. They do not own the land, all right? They just control it. Own nothing, but control everything. Now, if you can understand that, then you'll understand exactly how powerful the Pope really is. He owns nothing, but yet he controls everything and comes to America and rides around in glass balls and shit. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. You feel me? It's because he owns me, he controls. Excuse me. We go on to the next one. That's very important. Like I said, y'all needed to know that was a brother. We've always been told it was like some Caucasian man in school or something like that, and that was a lie. Because they really didn't want you to know who you were, and know that you really, you know, our people had power for a very long time. And we actually didn't lose the power until probably about the past 150 years. So we're going to talk about that too. Now, all right, so we talked about the Pope. We talked about King James. Now we need to understand that everybody was declared dead at sea. Parliament enacted an act behind closed door called the Cesti Cuvée Act of 1666. Has anybody ever heard of the Cesti Cuvée? Okay. Now the Cesti Cuvée is basically like a global trust, right? That the Pope and everybody put together and they say, you know what? We're going to put everybody in this trust and we're going to declare everyone dead. When we go and take over their lands, we're going to make them subjects to our corporation and we're going to convert them from living beings into corporate vessels. Right. Now, if you look on your birth certificate, you look on your driver's license, you look on your passport, your name is written in what? Because you all have been converted into a vessel in maritime waters. Now, that means that your name has been basically converted into a name all caps and is now something called a straw man. You feel me? Now this is very important because businesses can't talk to human beings. So therefore they have to create a business made in your name that you actually took your footprint and agreed to a contract with, and that's how they're going to get to do business with you. Right? They can't do business with you directly. They have to create a straw man in your name that you as a child actually put your footprint on and agreed to play that role. So we're going to talk about that too. So anyway, the act debated was to subrogate the rights of men and women across the world. Everyone was declared dead at sea, all right? And then the state became the trustee and the husband over your affairs, okay? He was the trustee. The state is the one that's basically in control, and you, well, after the age of 18, you can come back and take control over your commercial affairs because you are now a grown-up. But until you do, you will still be classified as a minor. No, you cool? Yeah, that's it. Perfect. That's the right one. That's what I want you to go to. Perfect. Now this brings us to that birth certificate and that contract. All right? Birth certificates are also known as warehouse receipts. Now, when you all were born, being born, you were swimming in the waters of your mother's womb. Right? And when you were swimming in the waters of your mother's womb, the very first thing you saw when you finally were born, you arrived at the dock. See, because again, you are swimming in your mother's wombs, and the first thing you arrive at is the dock. And who was the doc? The doctor. And that's the person who signs your birth certificate. All right? And then that doctor takes that, the doctor unloads the cargo off the mother's vessel. Because again, your mother is a ship, and you're just the cargo on your mother's ship. So the doctor actually unloads the cargo from your mother's ship, and he turns around and registers it at state property with the registrar. Isn't that who signs your birth certificate too? Okay. Yeah. And then if you look on the birth certificate, I know in Texas where mother signs at, it calls her an informant. Because she gave them up to the state, and then they registered you as property. You are state property. Okay? And this is the reason why they can come and snatch your kids at any moment in time just because you don't own them. You're just a pair who rents. Your parents, you're just a pair who rents state property. You're legal guardians, literally, guardians of state property. And if you don't do what they tell you to do, they can come snatch your child at any time. Right? You all have 7 years after your child is born to go back and authenticate that birth certificate and take full faith and credit in that estate. If you do not, they become abandoned property, and that's what gives the state the right at any time to green light them and come take your children. Period. So this is very important that y'all know this. All right? A warehouse receipt, which is considered a document of title, which also may be a negotiable instrument. Now we're going to talk about some negotiable instruments because we're going to get into discharging and removing debt. And we're going to talk about that because really that's what's plaguing on people right now is debt. I think if you all just didn't have debt, you would be more focused on building what you wanted to build for you. Right. But see, you go to work every day just to pay on bills that's really already paid. We're going to talk about that later. But anyway, you are the livestock being traded on the commercial market. Every day you are alive, your stock gains value, just as the USA company does. And if you don't think that it has any value, I say, cool. Take your child to school, and the very first thing they're going to ask you for is that birth certificate and that social. Now, the reason why they ask that is because that's how they get paid off the birth certificate bond. That birth certificate is a bond between you and the United States. It's a bond, all right? Now this is important because now let's say, little Tommy don't come to school for 3-4 days, right? I know in Texas, they gonna come show up at your crib for truancy and be like, yo, where's little Tommy at? He's not at school and these teachers can't get paid because they can't hit him up for roll call. That's how teachers get paid, off of hitting their bond up when kids check in for roll call every morning. That's what I'm saying. Your birth certificate bond is worth money. All of you are worth millions. What if I said all of you were already millionaires, but yet our people is out here killing each other over paper money that isn't even real? And by the time I leave today, you all are going to know we are all worth millions. All of us. And at the end of the day, when you see we are out here murdering each other for nothing and we have millions in credit already, your whole world is going to change. We go to the next one. being a little nervous. Right? So the functions of the Cestui Trust. Again, the government made a Cestui Trust for you. They made a global one, and then everybody within this global Cestui Trust also gets their own personal Cestui Trust. And this is actually a straw man. So how this works is, your mother was the executor. She was the one that actually created the trust in your name, right? But she was the informant. And the trustee is the state. The trustee is the person who's in control of the estate, whatever happens. Well, look at that. What is California Republic? That's because every single state has two different governments that are operating. Okay? You have the sovereign republic, and then you also have the corporation. Which one are you operating under? You see? So this is very important, because you all really do have constitutional rights. You all are really protected. You all have all of these protections. You know what I'm saying? And people will be like, well, that doesn't apply to us as melanated crazy. And I'm going to show you some videos too. And I'm going to show you some sisters who rolling over these police officers. You feel me? This is knowledge. Okay? And this is the only way I see that we can save ourselves. We have to know who we are first. Because until we do, we are casting spells on ourselves with these words, with this English language. You aren't English. So you all are using words and don't even know that you're entrapping yourself, right? You need to go back to your native tongue. Maybe it might be a little different. You go on to the next one. Yes, ma'am. The power of voting. Huh? Now this is how they ended up getting you all right? Now, basically, after they split everything up into districts, turned everything into a corporation, every single state, now they said, all we got to do is get the citizens to vote for our corporations now. You know, and it'll be just that simple. And how did they do that? They started giving you all elected officials. They said, you know, let's split them up into two. Let's divide and conquer. Let's call one Republican. Let's call one Democrat. Let's just make, you know, let's just let them go to war with each other. One side like this side, the other like this one. Listen, you would not vote for anything you didn't want to be a part of. You see what I'm saying? So when they got you all to vote and register to vote, that's when they actually pulled you in as taxable citizens. Does anybody know who does the voters registration? The tax assessor. Because she's the one that's actually controlling you actually being taxed. So you all are actually going to have to go back and cancel your voters registration too as well. Because that's what actually makes you a taxable citizen. Okay? That's very important. And yeah, we'll go on to the next one. Now this is the real fun part that I was waiting on. The Civil War. Now this is what they didn't teach you in school. And there was a reason for that. If we understood what happened in the Civil War, we would almost laugh at history class. Straight up. So we'll go ahead and go into it. Who were the Confederates? Now this is very important, because down here in the South, I'm from Texas, we've been taught to like hate the rebel flag. We've been taught to hate the symbolism, all of that. Well, let's see what it says. Google the battle flag of the 18th Alabama Infantry, and you'll see for yourself that the Aboriginals actually erected the first Confederate flags here in the South. And if you look here, this actually says Chickamauga. Chickamauga, does anybody know what that is? No. That's Cherokee Indians. Go look it up. Why the hell would Chickamauga be on the rebel flag? Oh, it's because it was ours. We were the Confederates. What? Yes, we were the Confederates. You know, and what we must understand is, you know, most Europeans at the time, and I said Europeans, not just Caucasians, but Europeans, period, right? At the time were actually neutral, okay? Many of them were just farmers, and, you know, and we were at, like I said, we were at war with Britain. It was the American Aboriginals. We were at war actually with Britain. You know what I'm saying? This was brothers against brothers. And then you had, like, you know, many of the colonists who got sent over here as servants of King James. They were really just in the middle, like, look at these Negroes. Just fighting at each other. Just, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, what people must understand is we have the Iroquois Confederacy. We have the Powhatan Confederacy, Northwest Confederacy. Well, damn, how did we have all the confederacies? Because we were the Confederate Army. All right? And we actually just let Europeans and Caucasians fight the mission with us. And you're going to see, I'm going to show you proof where they actually had on our fezzes and were swinging our flags. And I'm going to show you that. Right? So we can go ahead and go on to the next. Yes, ma'am. Oh, matter of fact, go back real quick. Now, we know damn well they wasn't fighting for black land. This is a real flag now. Y'all can Google that and look it up. All right, we go to the next. Okay. Now, again, this is symbolism. All right? Now, I'm going to show you what this rebel flag is, and I'm going to show you why they didn't want to ever tell you or educate you about it. And well, I'll just say these 4 triangles right here. That's earth, wind, water, and fire. You know that these people made Avatar, all kind of movies and games showing y'all all these different things, and they put it right in your face. Those are the 4 elements of the earth. Right? You had a whole music group, Earth, Wind, and Fire, who was trying to put you on since the 70s or 60s, and we still wouldn't get it. Has anybody ever seen their album covers? Come on now, they was trying to put you on. Right? And then you have 13 stars. 13 is the most significant, one of the most significant numbers to our ancestors. Why? Because it represents the divine feminine. And really, honestly, this is a war against the divine feminine. Period. All right? Now, many people might not want to say that, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you know, like I know, let's see. There was really, how many colonies did they create when they came here? 13. Does anybody know how many zodiacs there really are? 13. Okay. How many months on the Hebrew calendar? 13. Oh, and then it was Jesus and 12 disciples, but Jesus was a disciple himself. That was 13. You see, because everything was taken off the power of 13 and put on 12. Because they wanted to take it off the vibration of women. Right? Matter of fact, they went out their way to even make 13 evil. Friday the 13th.
13 ghosts.
13 ghosts. Everything. Hell, you can't even go to a hotel. They don't even have a 13th floor. This war has always been against you. You better wake up. Because like I say, when our sisters learn and know how to apply and assert this commercial game, y'all become the coldest ones. And y'all become vicious. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see, because you can actually win and we have all the power. So usually when our sisters actually see the door, they run through it. Some of our brothers kind of think, well, let me see if John goes through it. Most of our sisters is out of there. They get there first. So we're going to get that. We'll go to the next. Oh, no, keep it there, I'm sorry. And right here, you see, this is South Carolina quarter, 2016. We in South Carolina. That was in Fort Moultrie right there. The man got on the fence waving the flag with the crescent moon and star. What damn? Muskegee Confederate flag. What's that? What do you see? The crescent moon and star. See, now we were Islam, but we weren't the religion. It was Islam, I, self-law, and master. It was self-mastery. It was art, science. Like, that stuff they still can't figure out how we built thousands of years ago. It was science, family. All right? Now understand, this was our symbolism on our flags. And again, we let the farmers and them fight with us. Okay? But we were fighting Britain. Now I'm going to really give you a little leg twist real quick. You know, because like I said, the Confederate States were actually the American Indians who were fighting the North, which was the Union, which was actually funded by Britain. All right? This was actually Britain versus Americans, North versus South. This had really nothing to do with slavery. It had everything to do with taking control over your American Indian land. Period. That's exactly what it was. So if I remember right, the United States, boy, they love to play their game. You know, it's funny because they make you love who they want you to love. They made you love Martin and hate Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. Now, at the end of the day, if I believe right, now Harriet Tubman, wasn't she working with the Union, the North? Huh? Remember when Kanye said she was a traitor?
Right. Right.
Do you understand why?
Right.
Because she wasn't working with the American Indians, she was working with the Union. And she wasn't just coming down here to get slaves. She was actually coming down here getting all the engineers, the coldest scientists, and she was bringing, they were using them back against us.
But Kanye's crazy.
But he had on the rebel flag.
Right.
Remember, everybody been calling Kanye crazy. Now he damn near one of the richest, wealthiest black men in America. Melanated men in America. He's a billionaire now.
Because he used the system.
He used the system. That's what it's about. And what I'm trying to tell you is we can all play the game. We can all be successful. You know what I'm saying? So we can go ahead and go to the next. I'm sorry. Which leads us to the 1871 Naturalization Act. All right? Now what I mean is after the Civil War, basically, you know, well, I'll just say about 1865, we were getting so tired as American Indians. We were like, bro, they got too much money. They coming, we can't stop them. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? They were like, let's just wave the white flag, man. It's over with. Y'all got it. You know, y'all got more money than us. Y'all gonna overpower us. And they were like, you know what? All right, Americans. Well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do something called the Naturalization Act. And in 1871, what they did after the Civil War was over, hold on, before I even do that, do we have any people in here that are like foreigners? That, you know, came here and naturalized or anything like that? Nobody? You? Okay. See, well then you know when you're a foreigner, you have to come here and naturalize, right? And put down your old nation and pick up the United States nation. In 1871, this was right after the Civil War. They literally beat us. And then they converted us from Choctaw, Blackfoot. I see a lot of Blackfoot in here too. You know, and they converted us into U.S. citizens by naturalizing us and taking us from our nation. And once they naturalized you and took you from your nation, you no longer had protections anymore. We all had treaties. Treaties are the supreme laws of the land. They supersede the Constitution. They supersede all of that, right? Now, they couldn't just murder us, you know, as Cherokee, Choctaw, Blackfoot. They had to pull you out of that status first, right? And then we're going to put you in a slave status. I took you from your Cherokee nation, and I made you a black. As a matter of fact, you all came from so many, there was 600, 700, 800 different tribal nations in America. But you know what? We just going to throw y'all all in one big-ass pot of gumbo and call you a color book. We're just going to call you a continent. You continentian. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's serious, because I promise you, when you leave here today and you go and ask the average melanated man, hey man, what are you? What's your nationality? Oh, I'm black. Oh, I'm African American. Damn, lost again. I'm Negro. Nope, try again. I'm colored. Nope, try again. Where is that on a map? What nation of people is that? They don't exist. Right? So this is very, very, very important that y'all know and understand. All right, we can go to the next one. Now, whoa. Well, see, there's one thing now. There's one thing to turn you into a black. Now I got to educate you to be a black. I got to get you to walk like a black, talk like a black, think like a black, and be a black now. So now I'm going to make a historically black college university for your black ass. Period. Right? Okay? Now, between 1861, right, and 1900, more than 90 institutions of higher learning were established. Shaw University in 1865 was the first black college organized after the Civil War. Other schools that came later were Talladega College, Howard University, Morehouse, Hampton, Jackson State. All these schools that were to educate you on being a black. Yeah? There's a reason for that, my friends. All right, we can go to the next. Because now that we got you in this black status, let me show you their government forms, and let me show you how they classify you. You see, this right here is called an SF-181 classification form from the Office of Management and Budget. Okay? Now, on here, they're going to ask you, now when you go through the process on our website, we're going to break this whole thing down for you and teach you how to change your ethnicity and everything in their system. Now, if you look on here, the very first question they ask is, are you Hispanic or Latino? There is no Hispanic Adonia. There is no Latini Adonia. They in the same boats we in now. They're your cousins. Stop playing. All right? I don't even have time. All right? So we're going to move on to question 2. Right? And then it says, are you an American Indian? All right? An American Indian is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North or South America. Keyword, original peoples. All right? Now let's go on to Asian. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Far East and Southeast Asia. Let's go ahead and skip on down to, I think this one was Hawaiian. And this one is say like the origins of, you see I can read this better over here. Make sure you read it. It says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, or Samoa. All right, and then for white, it says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Now let's see what it says about you blacks. Huh? Let's read it. It says, a black or African American is a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. You didn't even come from original peoples. You just came from some color on some continent somewhere. Everybody else is classified as a human being, and you all are literally classified as stateless dead people. So do you really want to be black? Now do you understand why they have so many Black Lives Matter commercials? We never saw it. It's in football now, basketball, hell, the soccer jerseys, everything. And now Black Lives Matter. Oh, okay. That's because they're trying to keep you stuck, family. Because we waking up. We must keep you as blacks. Because if you ever find out that you was Choctaw, Cherokee, or anything like that, half of these counties out here will be yours again. All these lands and titles are in your name. Hell, half of the counties are still named after tribal Americans. They don't own anything, they just control it because everything is owned by your ancestors. But since y'all not in the proper status, you can't come back and get your 20 acres and a mule. It's in your ancestors' name. Nah, man.
Okay, I'm gonna get
Please do not go live. You can record, but do not go live.
Man, ancestors going hard for you, boy. How to get your remedy now, because we see what they did to us. Now everybody in here can get their remedy. Color doesn't matter, height doesn't matter, size doesn't matter. The only thing that matters now is your ability to use the pen. Okay? Alright? Now let's go on to get, how do we get the remedy? Well, first and foremost, you gotta do some estate planning, because you gotta go back and plan for your estate that's been abandoned your whole life. You gotta go back and take control over it now. Remember, alright? Now, because you are classified as a minor, until you come back and take trustee control over your trust like a grown-up, let me show you how they break it down. According to 31 CFR 363.6, you can actually look that up. A minor means an individual under the age of 18 years old. We already knew that. Now, the term minor also is used to refer to an individual who has attained the age of 18 years old but has not yet taken control over the securities in his or her minor account. They telling you that you are a minor. Matter of fact, this is why they still call you minorities. Because you have not went back to take control over the trust that was made in your name. That Treasury Direct account. You already know, brother. You already know. You already know. Alright? Now what's funny is, now y'all remember that trust I showed you in the beginning? Who played the trustee? Remember that trust I showed you in the beginning? Who played the trustee role? Okay, well now let's read the next line. To also add to that, a minor account in this subsection means an account that a custodian controls on behalf of a minor that is linked to his custodian's primary account. Do you know what that means? No. Who do you think the custodian is controlling your account? Okay, until you reach the age of 18, until you're grown up and come back and take control and become your own custodian. It's that serious. When you go into the courtroom, the judge is acting as your trustee because you haven't taken executive control over your life. These people really honestly can't even sue you because you're a federally protected consumer of the United States of America. Truly, they can't even sue you if you know the law. And we're going to talk about that too. We're going to go ahead and go to the next one. Now, you have something called state injunctions. Right? And this is an injunction is a judicial order that restrains a person from beginning or continuing an action, threatening or invading the legal right of another person. These are important because we have our students do these injunctions because it puts our students on a do not search and detain list for the entire state. All right? And I mean, you can actually get on our ISOF law calls. We have calls every Friday, you know, for people who are actually subscribers. And we'll have many students who will tell you the police will pull up right behind them, run their plates and IDs, boom, it'll show do not search and detain, and they'll pull around and keep it moving. What do you think those computers in their cars are for? But see, true gentlemen put people on notice, even the police. Because you just need to put them on notice and let them know I'm operating under my constitutional rights and I am not a U.S. citizen. If you do not tell them or put them on notice, they're going to assume you're a slave. Period. It's all off of assumptions unless you put me on notice. All right? Because once you put me on notice, then I can sue you because it becomes a contract. And we're going to talk about that. That's exactly what these injunctions are. They're contracts. And we can go to the next. How to travel. Now, we actually you have a national passport, and then you have a U.S. citizen passport. They both look the same. They smell the same. They feel the same. Everything about them is the same. The only thing that's different is the chip that's programmed inside of that passport. You know, and of course you do have you can get like the little license looking passport too as well. But at the end of the day, you can basically, that's gonna put you on the national do not search and detain list. If you ever got pulled over by police in any other state, you could always pull out your passport, okay? And that puts you on a do not search and detain. As long as you don't have any warrants, right? As long as you don't have no warrants, you can always give them that passport and they'll let you go. Now, I want to say, you know, you can use the travel ID not travel ID, excuse me, you can use this to actually, you know, travel internationally. And like I said, for me, I use it to get a gun sometimes, or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? But you do not have to operate even in a vehicle, automobile, with a driver's license. You can just use your passport because you're traveling. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Driving is a skill that has to be licensed by a corporate state. Traveling is your constitutional right, according to the Bill of Rights in every single state that says that you have the right to travel. They never said you needed a license. You needed a license for cannabis? When? You needed a license to drive? You needed a license to travel? When? These are all your constitutional rights and y'all just gave them out to licenses. All right? This is very important. You can go to the next. Yeah, oh, yeah. Click on that little HTTPS thing at the bottom. Yeah, click on the next. There you go. Now, what's your please?
That's what the fuck that Kween Katt was doing for your ass. We in Dearborn. We in Dearborn. Cold ass plates. Cold ass plates. No insurance. No registration. That's what that bitch said. They can't give us all the fucking ticket. You're not gonna give us a ticket? If y'all don't know, that's what I've been talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but she was lit, you know. That's my homegirl from the deep, you know, and they go hard in the deep. Like she don't care. Like she was so lit, you know what I'm saying. And now the next one, now that was from using the the passport, the national passport. Now she didn't have no she didn't have no license plate, a tag without her registration. She didn't even have no registration in it, you know. No insurance. But yet, they let her go.
Why?
Why? Just because nowhere in the Constitution doesn't say you're required to have any of that. Where? See, that applies to chattel slaves, 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. That doesn't apply to people with constitutional rights. You know what I'm saying? Back in the 1800s, boys on buggies didn't have no insurance. You know what I'm saying? Back then, in the 1600s, you had George Washington and them who were growing the hemp and the cannabis. And y'all tell me we need license for them? Maybe we just don't know our constitutional rights. Right.
We get there, you pick up your things, get pulled over. Like, what? What you say? Yo, don't talk shit in the back.
Now, this is the difference. We have a different one now. I'm going to show you what happened with this queen and the tribal ID. Because we also do help people with their genealogy, help them do the research, actually help them find their tribal heritage, and we can actually get you tribal IDs and nationality papers. So for this queen, we actually gave her a tribal ID. Now this sister here, she has 2 warrants. So we're going to see what happens when she gets pulled over by the police. And I get that little right there. Now Pete, now watch her. She finna speak now. She having a conversation. Legalese.
You got a license plate, cover, and that's a safety.
Did you hear what he just asked him? All right. Key word. Do you have a license on you? License. All right. Now listen to what she says. Here you go.
Wait, you said do I have my license? I'm traveling right now. I do not have my driver's license.
You heard what she said? I don't have a driver's license. I'm traveling right now. Okay. Now let's see what the cop says to that. All right, because usually if you tell a cop you don't have your driver's license, something you have to bust down. You better get out. No, I'm about to drag you out the car. Let's see what this sister did. Pause for the full time. What? He said, do you have any ID on you at all then? Well, damn. I thought license was the only thing we could have. Oh, now you ask me, do I got something else? Okay, well, let's see what she says now.
If I do, you, sir? You have ID on you? We got to identify everybody in the car.
That is a lie.
Why?
What kind of ID is
My Indian IDs, my travel ID.
So he looked at her, he said, whoa, what kind of IDs are these? You know? And she was like, that's my tribal ID, my Indian ID, my tribal ID. Now let me see what happens next.
Your name is... You can unplug your ID?
Now on her tribal it said chief, it said like Chief this Littlefoot or something. It was something, you know.
1 minute.
I press pause real quick. Last one. So now they done gave them tribal IDs with tribal names on them. So it's not their real government strawman name. You know, like I said, that says like Chief this Littlefoot. So for some odd reason, he gonna be stupid enough to actually go and try to run their names in the system and see if he can find them. Look, right here. Look. Freedom! Right here. And you see it got a little QR code on the back. You know what I'm saying? Because actually the cop can actually scan the QR code. You can actually load up all your files on there that you put on public record, and the cop can see it right then that he, you know, that he's dealing with a tribal American.
In the back of my face.
Yep, and back up off my face. So now, let's watch what happens when he tries to run their name in the system. So. Get your license and that bumper on. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Because he didn't charge her without a license. He couldn't do anything to her. Because she didn't opt in as a slave of the system. You know what I'm saying? This is all about consent. That's why when they come
How y'all doing today? My name is Wayne Smith. I'm the official game maker for this app. I got coming out the best day. Coming out the winter.
My bad. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, he was salty and he was mad because he couldn't charge her. Basically, and I told you, this woman had 2 warrants. So what does that mean? The warrants aren't attached to your body, they're attached to your strawman name. So maybe if you just knew how to operate in different venues and at different times, then really going to jail has always been your consent. Right?
Yo, your fucking name is the truth. Don't everything.
Avoiding vaccinations. Last one about vaccinations. You know, we actually do have a vaccination that you can use for your children. You know, if they want to go to school or whatever, you know, I don't know if this is bad here, but like in California, they won't even allow the kids to go to school without a vaccination now. You know, so we gave her one of those, and you know, supposedly the very next day they were like, oh, well, we have at least 10% that we can have students that can't have that. And who's going to sue them? You know what I'm saying? So we do have a vaccination affidavit. We'll go over to the next. Woo. Use that too. I can get one more water.
Poison my babies.
Woo. Hey, 1 second, I just had to regenerate real quick. All right. Woo. Now we're going to talk about your real power and the power of credit real quick. Because you all are already millionaires, and we're going to talk about that. 15 USC 1602, the term card issuer. And USC stands for United States Codes. All of you all need to know all of these codes for the rest of your life.
Rest of my life.
Yep. Woo. 15 USC 1602. Oh, the term card issuer means any person who issues a credit card. They did not say your credit card had to be plastic. They did not say it had to be issued from some bank. What I'm telling you is, you all have a credit card. It's called a social security number. You have a 9-digit account number on the front, and you actually have a routing number on the back that leads to what federal bank it belongs to. Okay? And then you also have on the front, you have to sign it just like you have to sign your credit card. Okay? Well, we know that this is a credit card. All right? All right? So let's get that understood. This is a credit card. All right? 15 USC 1602I. The adjective consumer used with reference to a credit transaction. We're talking about credit, okay? The adjective consumer characterizes the transaction as one in which the party to whom credit is offered or extended to is a natural person. So what they're saying is the consumer is a natural person. Now we know good and well, banks are not people. So if we know banks are not peoples, then we obviously know that they're not the consumers. Now again, these 15 USC laws and stuff, these were all put in place by Congress. Congress writes laws. So it's very important that y'all know that Congress already knows what's going on. Okay? And they're telling you that we know that the real true consumers are you. And you all are actually the creditors. Now again, it's funny because you always sign a credit application offering your credit, but then somehow someone comes back and gives you a loan. Did you know that they borrowed your credit and loaned it back to you? With interest? Oh, because you are the creditor. Yeah, you're worth millions. Like I say, matter of fact, I'll put it like this. When you went into the car dealership, very first thing they said was, hey brother, go out there and go find you a car. Yeah, I'm gonna give me one, man. Be right back. You know what I'm saying? And you come back, yeah, I want that one right there, 20,000. Whoa, but they're like, man, gotcha. You know what? Now, I need you to sign this credit application, brother. And I need you to put your social right here, and I need you to put your signature on the paper. Okay? Don't you know you just gave them your credit card? Then somehow when they go and run this credit and come back, oh, you approved. Did y'all know that the banks can fractionalize $1 and multiply it times 10 for every dollar? So let me tell you what they did to you, right? They took that $20,000 card that you had and made you sign a little signature for your credit. But what they did was they actually hit you up times 10. So they actually hit you for $200,000, right? And they took out that $20,000 that you wanted for the car and loaned it to you back to pay for the car and then loaned it back with interest. And then made you pay them every single month after that. They finesse it. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So that's very important. So again, this is why they ask you for your credit card info, Social Security, because you all are extending the credit. 20 CFR 211.2. The term compensation means any form of payment made to an individual for services. The thing is, you were compensating them. And they had a job to go and get that car for you. You gave them the credit. You already compensated them. They're employees and work for you. You are the creditor. And what's crazy is they'll actually have the nerve to deny and reject people on their own credit after they hit you up. This is the cold part. They'll get you to sign a credit application, then hit you up for that extra thousands of dollars, and they'll be like, oh, your credit score wasn't high enough. Try again maybe next year. Right. And they just hit you up. That's adverse. Man, did y'all know y'all go back to sue them for that? Yeah. They took your money. They owe you now. You compensated them. Okay. All right. All right. Go to the next one. Now, interpreting contracts. 15 USC 1602H, the term credit sale refers to any sale in which the seller is a creditor. The 15 USC 1691A. D, the term credit, listen, the term credit means the right granted by a creditor to a debtor to defer payment of debt. So, we know who the creditor is, right? Who's the creditor? So then, who is the debtors? Alright, because they're the borrowers. They are the borrowers. You're the original creditor. Now, according to law, according to Congress, what Congress says is, Congress said, as the creditor, you have the right, as the creditor, to a debtor to defer the payment of debt. What does that mean?
The legal transfer.
Well, really, you don't have to pay anything. Yeah? Well, why is that? It's because every time that you use that 9-digit number, it was actually an obligation of the United States to pay according to 18 USC 8. You all need to know that. 18 USC 8, they are obligated to handle your debts and pay them for you. Did you know that? Well, how do you think slavery still works? They have you going to work paying on debts every day that aren't even real. I say if you actually knew the game, then like I said, maybe you all wouldn't even be going to work anymore. You'd probably be at home working for yourself. Okay. All right. Now keep it moving. You are granting your credit to companies and they are the debtors? Yes. Now, your signature is the payment that secures your interest in the product. You have security interest. Right? If I want something, I'm going to be interested. I'm going to put my interest in on it. Right? That's security interest. Now, when you gave a company your social security number and your signature, that is your credit card, and that solidified that there was a credit transaction right there. Period. Now, here's the code for it. 15 USC 1602L. It says the term credit card. Here we go. Here we go. It says the term credit card means any card, plate, or coupon book. Device existing for the purpose of obtaining money, property, labor, or services. Now check it. They said a credit card. We already know a credit card is a card, but it says it's a plate.
License plate.
License plate. You know what happened if you went outside and parked in the wrong parking spot and you know, what would they do? They usually give you what? Ticket. Oh, they give you a ticket. But damn, how do they give you a ticket? They don't even know your name. They don't even know who you are. Oh, but see, but they had your license plates. And your license plate is connected to what in the DMV? Your social security, right? And your license that's connected to your what? Your social. Everything leads back to that social. So that credit, so that's why they can give you tickets, because they can automatically charge your plates because it's a form of credit. Now, the code is the coupon book. Coupons. I bet some of you all got some bills right now at the crib. I don't even want to call them bills. Statements right now at the crib. You ever see that part at the bottom, the little utility statement? You got this little dotted line going across the bottom. It says that's a payment. Did you know that you could take that damn payment off right there and actually send that in with an affidavit and that's going to pay for the debt? Did y'all know that you go home and go and look at that paperwork? Now, if you were really in the negative and you owed something, it would be in the negative, wouldn't it? When you overdraft your bank, it's in the negative, right? So why did they put that on your bill in the positive? With a little slip that said, cut me. Come on, family. That was because you were supposed to cut it off and send it in with an affidavit stating your consumer laws, letting them know I'm not paying for anything. It's already paid.
You do that for rent too, though.
For everything. Hell, your car notes, your house notes, everything they send you, they always give you that slip at the bottom that you can always cut off and send back in. But what they're telling you is they're really covering their behinds, because they're saying whenever they do wake up, they can't be mad like we didn't tell them. It's right there. So that's why I said now you're about to come and learn about 5%ers now. You all are going to become the 5%ers.
Is that before or after you get your name changed, though? You can do that.
I mean, you can do all that now. Before your name is changed. You can do all that right now. And discharge debt and do all of that. So we're going to the next one real quick. Boom. Alright, now this is the main one I want y'all to pay attention to. If I don't come back and y'all ain't got no 18-wheelers out here in the front, a van. What's your cat might come pick me up next time. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, check it. 49 USC 14301, security interest in certain motor vehicles. The term security interest means an interest, check it, in a motor vehicle when the interest secures payment or performance of an obligation. So if you got security interest in something, your performance for that obligation or your payment has already been paid. It says that your payment is already secured if you have security interest, right? So I'm going to show you exactly what's on my car contract. And you all got it on yours too. You all go home tonight and pull up your sales contract for your car. And it's going to tell you the same thing. It says the security interest you are giving us secures all amounts owed by you under this contract and all other agreements you have made in this contract. I don't think y'all heard. The security interest you are giving us secures all amounts owed by you under this contract and all other agreements. Oh, see, listen here, baby, we got 4 cars now. Tesla, Maserati, Mercedes, I like Maserati. I can't even keep up with them. BMW. So it's getting to the point now, you know what I'm saying? Because once you hit them one time, you can't, well, you know, you come. Now what I'm trying to tell you is, now when y'all go and play the game, don't go down there and get the little something. Get what you want. When I went in there for my very first one, with my Mercedes C350, I came in there and said, well, listen here, brother. I want it fully loaded. Red leather. I want the beat speakers. All right. I want the speakers. I want all of that. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, oh, sir, that's, you know, I was like, give me the rims. He was like, but I don't have the rims. You got a special. Give me the rims. Give me everything. Because I know in my mind, as soon as I pull off this lot, you'll never see it again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sure enough, like I said, all other agreements. Like I said, all those extra add-ons, those are paid for too on behalf of my social. Okay? All right? And now check this out. 15 USC 1692F of the Unfair Practices Act. It even tells you that it's a violation to take or threaten to take any non-judicial action or disposition of people's property. Basically, it's a violation to steal, well, let me put it right. It's a violation to tow anybody's car. Why would it be a violation for somebody to tow your car? Well, yeah, because it says you can only take a person's possession if you have enforceable security interest. It got cut off. If you have enforceable security interest. That's weird, because we already know who has the security interest, right? Who? So how is a tow truck company coming to take your car? Because it's theft. Why do you think they come in the middle of the night? You didn't know you could charge them for that? That's even more theft. All of this is theft. What I'm trying to tell you is, this is a game. Did y'all know that? Well, matter of fact, man, you know, because people don't believe me when I say it, so I just wanted to pull it up for you so you can read it yourself. Because a lot of people really don't know who these police officers are. What'd you say there, brother? Police officers are debt collectors. And they charge you and collect the debt and send it to the courthouse to collect. The courthouse is a debt collector. Now, if you don't mind, can somebody read that number 1 for me? Either one of them. Right there, read number 1. Yes, ma'am.
The false representation or implication that the debt collector is vouched for, bonded by, or affiliated with the United States or any state, including the use of any badge, uniform, or facsimile thereof.
So they're telling you it's about, according to 15 USC 1692, they're telling you that it is a violation for somebody to even call themselves a police officer with a badge on and say that they work for the state. Because they're debt collectors. They're not even real officers. Damn, you mean to tell me my brothers and sisters is going to jail? Alright, so debt collectors. Okay, that's very important that y'all know. We can go to the next one. Remember this. 15 U.S.C. 1691A, the term credit means the right for a creditor to defer the payment of debt. You all need to learn how to write affidavits. Okay? That's where your power is at. And we actually have a class and a lesson that Queen Professor did. It's a beautiful webinar. Definitely check it out. She's going to tell you how to write your affidavit, how to write up an invoice. You can go and charge these people for everything. Did you know that they can charge? Matter of fact, all these payments that you done made on your car, did you know they're just sitting in an escrow account? Until you finish paying that car off? And then usually after people pay the car off, after 3 years, if you don't go back and collect that money, then the bank goes back and takes everything in the escrow account. But you know you can still go back and get that money in the escrow account now? That's law. That's law. Yeah, because and again, Congress will tell you all this in 15 U.S.C. 1692. They'll tell you that, yeah, like, you know, if a creditor has disputed a debt, you know, and basically, you know, and you can't validate it, we want you to send all of the payments back to here. You can actually tell them where to send your money from the escrow account. You better get your brothers, you're ready. I know you're ready. Some of your brothers already know what it is. Congress is sitting up and telling you, they know what's going on. But they're not going to ever teach you this in school. Never. We already know the police officers aren't real. We know that half of these judges out here taking people's properties for evictions and foreclosures. They tell you, even in the law, they say you got to do that in the district court. But somehow, people getting their properties taken in the county court. That shit not even legal. Yeah, it's sickening. It's sickening, right? We go on to the next. Now, and again, and I'm going to tell you right here in the Articles of Confederation. Listen, the founding fathers as constitutors reorganized the debt. Now, what we must understand is, by definition, constitutors are one by a simple agreement who becomes responsible for the payment of another person's debt. You can actually read and actually look for that definition of constitutor, and it'll tell you that they're supposed to pay your debt. Now, when they actually got you to become a straw man, that's when they actually got you to become constituted to the United States. They're your constitutors. Like I said, every single debt you have is an obligation of the United States to pay. Not you. Not you. And it even tells you in the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation states in Article 12, all bills of credit emitted shall be deemed and considered a charge against the United States. It was never a charge for you to pay. You know, a house of Kalani, a house of White, or whatever your family name is. You know, you all need to have like a crest. I don't know if you ever seen like a shield, a coat of arms. Y'all ever seen those? Yeah, you all need to have a coat of arms for your family. You all need to have a family flag. All of you. If you don't have a family flag and a nation flag for your family, that's because you're probably repping the United States flag. You all need your own flag and nation. Mama needs a nation. Nationality starts with mama. Yeah, if she wants to call y'all the big head bandicoots, that's what y'all gonna be. That's y'all nation. That's what y'all is. Right? And then under the house you have a church. Your religious assembly. Back in the day, grandpa, father, whoever, they used to write down all of the family births in the Bible. You know, many of our grandfathers and fathers used to be ministers. Many of them were men. My grandfather's a minister. My dad is actually a minister. My uncles are still ministers. I just chose to preach something different. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we need to know that religious protections is strong, because in every single state it tells you that the state cannot infringe on your religious rights. So if you have all of your affairs operating under a religious assembly, then maybe your church can't be infringed upon. You know, we got a lot of people that we help with immigration. The way that we help them beat immigration is because we'll actually have their family set up a church, and they'll make them church members of the church. If you know, like I know, when a lot of people try to beat immigration, they'll go run to the church for protection. It's because the state can't infringe on religious rights. So if they're a part of your church, then basically they can't infringe on them. So we must learn how to use the religious assembly as a power structure for us. And not just as, churches in the community that just, takes our money every Sundays or whatever. That's cool, whatever. But at the end of the day, you all can have your own family church where you rest your head every day and where you pray is your temple. Okay? So that means your house could probably be registered as your church. And that means that could be a tax. Right on. Stop. Right here, tribal nation. You all, once you find out what you Choctaw, Cherokee, Blackfoot, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? This is like the Carolinas. This is actually a lot of the Cherokee land. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My great-great-great-grandfather was actually from North Carolina. So, Carolinas is where a lot of history is. Y'all got so much history out here. It's crazy, right? So, but anyway, you have your family tribal nation because, again, you have treaties that protect you. So, again, you got the church that protects your affairs. Then you got your tribal nation and your treaties that protect you. And they can't infringe on this, so it costs them millions of dollars. When was the last time you heard Cherokee man pulled out his car and whipped to sleep?
Never.
Can't remember. When was the last time we heard about a Chinese brother getting pulled out the car? Matter of fact, even better. When was the last time you heard a Nigerian, a Kenyan, Jamaican man here in the States getting pulled out the car and beat to sleep? But you see black people get beat to sleep every day. You see Latino get beat to sleep every day. Every day. Because those are nationless people. But they can't treat the Nigerian man like that, because if you do Nigerian man like that, Nigeria's going to come over here and say, you owe me for that. You feel me? That's the importance of nationality. You must have a nation behind you. You feel me? Because when you all go back to your Cherokee, Choctaw, Blackfoot, you all have treaties. And then when something happens to you, we can all come as a family like, yo, fam, what's fam? Right. You owe me that. I'm finna run up in your crib. Straight up. And that's how it is. Because in Texas, on the Treaty of Birds Fort, it says if any United States citizens trespass our land, then we can actually detain him and actually kidnap him and bring him back to his agent. After we get done doing what we need to do. Now, we're not going to kill you, but we will beat you to sleep and wake you back up and deliver you back to your agents. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. They can mess with blacks, but they can't mess with tribes. That's why we must go back to our tribal nation. Now, lastly, your trust. We teach everybody how to create a foreign trust. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs to create a foreign trust. You already have a public trust that was made in your name. And you already have good credit on it. You already have everything that you want in this world. The name of the game is use their credit and that social security number to buy and fund all of your dreams in their public world. Then what you do is once you actually have the asset, then that's when you're going to convey it over through a bill of sale and actually sell it to your trust, to the private world now. You're going to be going from the public to the private. You're now going to become Neo. Plug in, plug out. And it's going to be time to go back home to Zion. Remember, that's what they called it in the movie. When you were free, when he unplugged, it was Zion. Right? This is very important. Now, I want to leave you with this one, the LLCs. You all need to have an LLC because your LLC needs to be owned by a trust. You all do not need to own any of your businesses. What? Own nothing but control everything. Heard you. So you want to own your businesses through a trust because you don't want to have personal liability for the business. Right? Because I can't, if I get in a car accident out there, I can't sue the car. I got to sue the person who's what? Driving the car. So same thing with a business. I can't sue the business. I got to sue the person who owns the business. But wait a minute. If the person who owns the business is a trust and it's foreign, I can't find out who owns it. Then why am I ever going to serve somebody to ever bring them into the courtroom for a lawsuit? They can't. Because they can't even find you. They have to serve you with papers. But if they don't even know who the owner is, how can they serve you? Asset protection. You feel me? And I'm going to leave with this last one with the LLC because I want y'all to understand the importance of the LLCs, man. You know, y'all all need an LLC. This is you all need an LLC. You need an LLC, one for your family, right? Because you need to make your children actually employees of the family, you know? Because employees need socks. Yes. They need uniforms. Yes. They need clothes. Matter of fact, last I checked, you can even send employees to school. Yeah, okay. That's a write-off for the business. Yeah. Did you know you can send your kids to college for free? as a write-off? Stop, listen. It's all about what you do. So, now I want to say too, as an LLC, it's important because once you have an LLC, you need to convert it into an S Corp for tax purposes using IRS Form 2253. All right? IRS Form 2253. You need to convert your LLC into an S Corp just for tax purposes. Just with the IRS. Just with the IRS, you register as an S Corp. But it's still an LLC in the state. Now, why would we do that? Because with an S Corp for tax purposes, you can write off however much of the business as you want to. You just have to pay on what you're paying yourself as the business owner. Okay? So, what I like to do is I like to do an even 80-20 split. I like to say, yo, I'm going to pay on 80% of me. I'm going to write off 80% of my taxes, and I'm going to pay myself 20% out of my revenues. Right? So I'm going to do 80-20. That seems about fair as a business owner. Then my dog Trump came through in 2018. You'd be like, my dog came through in 2018, and then he passed the Trump Tax Act. Well, what was the Trump Tax Act? Well, he said, well, if you're registered as an S Corp, anything like that, well, you can have an automatic 21% tax deduction. Then I said, well, let me add the math. If I'm already writing off 80%, then Trump gave me a 21% tax deduction. Well, damn, 80 plus 21, I'm a 100% tax deductible brother every time. Every time. Huh? So now you know how Amazon be $1 billion company and don't pay taxes, but then yet little John down the street paying thousands of dollars in taxes every year. Come on now. It's all a lack of knowledge. That's it. That's the only thing killing our people, man. It's a lack of knowledge. So, I think that's it. I think that was the last one. Yeah, that's just our website, of course. I Self-Law and Master. We do monthly subscriptions. Where we have over 40 courses where we break down all of this and teach you and walk you through it, and you can do it at your own pace and your own time. We also have a 2-month course online academy. We actually got an academy coming up on August 9th. And basically, it's an online academy for 2 months, for 2 days out the week, for 2 months, and for 2 hours. We'll actually be breaking down these processes for you. We're literally going to hold your hand and walk you through the system. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you're going to do it with class, you're going to do it with everybody, So, usually the students who do the academy, they get it done. You know what I'm saying? We got webinars, we got tribal nationality papers. We can help you with your credit, consumer repair, all that. Free weekly remedy calls. And we actually have Empire Packs where we can set up your LLC for you. We can set up your tribal government. We can set up your church. We can set up your whole foundation pyramid if you want us to. You know what I'm saying? That's totally up to y'all. But I will say, it's much cheaper for you all to do everything yourself and learn it. That's how I really want you to do it. I made it all so cheap, for $80 to have all 40 courses, you know what I'm saying, just so that I want y'all to get it and learn it yourself. Now, if you're going to make us have to do it, and I got to hire somebody to do it for you, I got to charge.
It's worth it, though.
It's
worth it, though.
Because I got everything already documented. But it's totally up to you. Because I know some people are working, they don't have the time. But all I'm saying is, if we still gonna do it, if we gonna do it for you, you still better go back and still study and learn. Because at the end of the day, I can't take the test for you. I can do your paperwork, but still at the end of the day, when it comes crunch time, like when no girl got pulled over, you got to know. You got to know. Oh, girl knew. Think about how many lives you could have saved.
Right.
You knew.
Just if we knew the language.
Right.
It's crazy. So our boys is out here getting murdered every day because we don't know who we are.
That's right.
It's time that we wake up and stop playing games. I appreciate y'all, Brother Truth, man. Thank you.